ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं राधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Today we are continuing to the second lesson of Upadeshamrita, that is text number 2 and 3. श्री श्री राधा गोविंद की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction. Last class we have seen the first lesson, the text number 1. What are the things we have learned? We learned about the pranam mantra of Rupa Goswami and overview of this Upadeshamrita and attitude in Krishna consciousness, and Krishna consciousness, sense control, and qualifications of a guru. What are the 6 qualities? Those things we have discussed in the last class. Continuing further, in lesson 2, we have 2 texts, text number 2 and 3. In that, we have 6 favorable and 6 unfavorable activities, which are that is 6 favorable things which are used in the bhakti, that is nurturing the bhakti, and 6 unfavorable activities which will destroy the bhakti. These are the things which we are going to study today. Text number 2, you can see in the book also. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha Shadbhir Bhaktir Vinashyati. These are the 6 characters by which the bhakti, the devotion to the Lord, gets destroyed. Vinashyati means destroyed. The translation is like this. Once devotional service is spoiled, when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. First one, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Second, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Third, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Practicing the spiritual rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. That is one meaning. Other meaning, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. So following just for the namesake or not following at all. Both are atya niyamagraha. Then fifth one, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, that is Janasanga. And then sixth one is being greedy for mundane achievements. These are the 6 characters by which our devotion gets compromised. Our practice of devotional service gets compromised. If you see the purport, in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada explains about the 3 types of energy the Lord has. 3 energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So what are those 3 energies? First one is Antaranga Shakti, other one is Tatastha Shakti, and third one Bahiranga Shakti. Antaranga Shakti is acting in the spiritual world, and Bahiranga Shakti is acting in the material world. And Tatastha Shakti, that is the Jivas. The Jiva or the living entity, they originally belong to spiritual world, but at the present moment, they are in the material world, bound with the body. So they are called as Tatastha. Tatastha means they belong to both. Tata means the in-between. We say the bank of a river. Bank of a river is called as Tata. That means one side water, other side land. So if you go this side, one side we have material life, other side we have spiritual life. Both are next to each other and we are in between. So that's why it's called as Tatastha Shakti. Antaranga Shakti, there are also 3 types are there. That is Hladini, Sandhini, and Samvit. In the Antaranga Shakti, the Hladini Shakti that is explained here, it is called the Daivi Prakriti or Srimati Radharani or Lakshmi, the pleasure giving potency, Hladini. That is the Antaranga Shakti. And Sandhini, that is the creative energy. And the Samvit means the knowledge potency. The Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means always existing, eternally. Chit means full of knowledge. And Ananda means eternally blissful. So that those Sat Chit Ananda, that is achieved in these 3 energies, that is Hladini, Sandhini, and Samvit potency. After that, the next one is Tatastha Shakti, which constitutes all the living entities, the Jivas. They are actually, originally, they are the subordinates of Lord Krishna, and when they are under the control of the Lord, they are in the right position. But when they are trying to become independent, then they get into trouble. So based on this, there can be 2 again categories. One is called Mahatma, other one is Duratma. What is Mahatma? Mahatma here under the Tatastha Shakti, the one who is serving the Lord, understanding Jivera Swarupahaya, Krishnera, Nityadasa. If a person is able to serve the Lord, he has surrendered to the Lord, then he is a Mahatma. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti mashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. This definition, which is given here in 9.13, that is the definition for a Mahatma. Mahatma is not a title or for any mundane person. Mahatma means the person who has surrendered to the Lord, who are not deluded. The great souls are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know as the Supreme, they know that me, that is Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. That is the definition of a Mahatma. Those who are not Mahatmas, they are called as Duratma. Duratma means one who is not under the control of Krishna, or one who is under the control of external potency, that is Mahamaya of the Lord. Now, these people are engaged in their own sense gratification. That is false sense gratification, because the real senses of the jiva, the soul, is not getting the real happiness in this sense gratification when the person is engaged. It is a senses of the body which is being gratified. This is under the influence of Mahamaya. So a person can either be under the control of Krishna or under the control of Mahamaya. The jiva will not be independent at any time. Those jivas, those living entities who come under the control of Krishna, they are Mahatmas. Those who come under the control of Mahamaya, they are Duratmas. And Prabhupada also explains the extended sense gratification or extended sense gratification. What it is mean? That is through the nationalism, humanitarianism, or altruism, independent of Krishna, thinking that oneself to be all in all, and he is the person who is benefiting all the people. So if he thinks like that, then he is also called as a Duratma. The person who is a devotee of Krishna, he knows that everything is happening because of Krishna. Everything is under his control. So who am I to help someone? We can only give Krishna to others. We can give Krishna Prasada to others. We have no capacity to help anybody independent of Krishna. And that is not recommended also, because we should cure the root cause of the problem. If we are only giving the medicine for the symptom, then it will increase the disease. So that is the explanation for Mahatma and Duratma, who both comes under the Tatastha Shakti. Then next comes the Bahiranga Shakti, or the Mahamaya, or external energy. What is the function of this Bahiranga Shakti? It is this Bahiranga Shakti will accommodate all the jivas who are not fit for going to Krishna, one who is not fit to serve the Lord. And what is its function? It will give the klesha. Klesha means the difficulty to the jiva, so that the living entity will understand one day that this world is not a comfortable position for living eternally. Nobody can live here eternally. We have to give up the comfortable position, or the comfortable position will give up. It will be lost. So either way, it is not going to stay forever. When a person understands this, then he will turn his face towards the spiritual science or spirituality. He will try to understand what is the cause of my misery. And this is achieved through the Bahiranga Shakti. There are three ways she will do this. That is Adhyatmika Klesha, Adibhautika Klesha, and Adidaivika Klesha. These three we have seen in the Bhagavad Gita itself elaborately. The Adidaivika Klesha means the difficulties which are coming from the demigods. And Adibhautika Klesha means the difficulties from other living entities, the enemies or insects, animals, all these. Then Adhyatmika Klesha means the difficulties within one's own mind, one's own body, that is physical and mental problems. All these things are the functions of Bahiranga Shakti. And also there is birth, death, old age, and disease. These are the main four problems which are there. So through these Adidaivika, Adibhautika, and Adhyatmika Klesha, the material energy is trying to explain us, don't try to be here happy. That is not possible. Be in the association of the Lord, you will become happy. That is the purpose of material world. The material world will give n number of opportunity for the living entity to enjoy the so-called enjoyment. Then continuing further, Srila Prabhupada starts explaining the 6 items which he had listed one by one, and that the first one is Atyahara. Atyahara means, here two words are there, Ati, Ahara. Ati means too much. Ahara means, in plain language, Ahara means food, what we eat. But it is not limited to food only. Anything that we consume, or anything that we possess, or we grasp, thinking that this will give me happiness, this will make me happy. So that is the Atyahara, eating too much or possessing too much, collecting too much, more than necessary. Excessive enjoyment, the sense gratification. All these things, what happens because of this Atyahara, the person will forget the real purpose of life. He will get only engaged in the sense gratification, and he will forget the sadhana, because of which he will lack the spiritual happiness. And once the spiritual happiness is not there, the person will try to search for the happiness in the material world itself, so that he will get into so many multiple difficulties, so many problems. Once the person gets addicted to anything in the material world, he cannot come out of it so easily. So it is very important to have continuous sadhana. Otherwise, the person will fall down. Now, the renunciants, they are forbidden for accumulating the material goods. Whatever they have, they will offer it to Krishna. That is the nature of a Brahmana. Brahmana means what? In Bhagavad Gita, there is a definition for Brahmana and Kripana. Brahmana means one who is very broad-hearted, broad-minded. And Kripana means a cripple-minded, or one who is not, one who doesn't use the property either for himself or for others. He will only possess it and spoil it. That is Kripana. So all the renunciants, those who are taken the path of renunciation, the highest varna, the ashrama, that is sannyasa ashrama, they do not possess anything material. Whatever they have, the only property is devotion to Krishna. For serving Krishna, they'll accept all the things, whatever needed. Otherwise, for themselves, they don't possess anything. The Grahastha Vaishnavas, or the Grahastha Ashrama devotees, they have to accumulate certain things sufficient for their maintenance, because as a family man, one has to take care of the wife and children, or vice versa. They have to take care of each other. Because of that, they are allowed to accumulate the material things to some extent. But when this goes beyond certain limit, that means too much of accumulation of the wealth, or when the goal of life becomes only to achieve the material objects, then the person will forget the real path of spirituality, and it will destroy the devotional life. Then Prabhupada also explains about how animals are living without any much difficulty. One of the quality that we can see among animals, that they don't possess anything. They will only accept whatever needed for that day, and then they will move on. They never think of tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I want this. So keep accumulating. This kind of nature is not there among animals. They don't have the facility also for accumulating, because of which they are happy. There is no scarcity, because as we have seen in the Ishopanishad, everything is Purna. The Lord has given everything for all the living entities. He is taking care of everyone. There is no scarcity. But when there scarcity occurs, when one person encroaches the property of other 10 people, then they will be in trouble. Then there is a scarcity. Otherwise, there is no scarcity in the material world also. In spiritual world, anyhow, all are directly in the service of Krishna. But even in the material world, if we are following the Ishopanishad principle, then we can become happy. Now, there are some examples Prabhupada gives here for Atyahari. Who are the different types of Atyahari? That is Bhuktikami, Muktikami, and Siddhikami. Bhukti means material enjoyment. One who is running after this material happiness, sense gratification, he is called as Bhuktikami. The person who is directly engaged, or the person who is facilitating all this material enjoyment. That is, Prabhupada gives here example of writing books on economic development. It is also a Bhuktikami, how to make more and more money. They will not tell you why you have to make money, so much of money, but they only concentrate on how to make money. Just accumulate more and more. So this will spoil our bhakti. And Muktikami, that is the person who is desiring for impersonal liberation by accumulating the knowledge, more and more knowledge, and speculating about the Lord, and writing books on this philosophy, which is devoid of bhakti. One who is not thinking of the Lord, or pleasing the Lord is not the purpose of reading or understanding, studying. The purpose is to mukti, just get liberated. For such people, they are only thinking of that this material world is dangerous. So somehow get out of this place. So where you want to go, that is secondary. First of all, I want to get rid of this place. That is the mentality of a jnani or muktikami. But for a devotee, he is going back to Godhead, not because he can't stay here, but it is because he has the higher purpose in the spiritual world, or higher taste in the spiritual world. For a devotee, it is more important where I am going. But for a muktikami, or a person who is endeavoring for liberation, for him, more important is to get rid of this material world. And after that, where he goes, that is uncertain, or he will merge with the Brahman. So that is the Muktikami. Then Prabhupada says Siddhikami. When a person gets attracted to the Siddhis, mystic yoga perfections, then also his devotion gets destroyed. Why? Because this Siddhi, they will make the person as superhuman, or he will be able to attract many people. He can do so many kinds of magic, and people get attracted, and he will also forget his position, and he may start thinking that I myself is God and there is no separate God. You all can worship me. All these things will start. Then there is no devotion to Lord. So Siddhi also, it is material. It will become an obstacle in the devotional path. So all these things are the examples for Atyahara. And because of this Atyahara, the next one will come. That is Prayasa. Atyahara, the desire for accumulating more and more, it can cause Prayasa. That is working hard for achieving material objects. The cultivation of knowledge by jnanis, the austerities and vows undertaken by karmis, and the hard labor of ambitious materialists are all example for prayasa. For living a plain life, a devotional life, the person don't have to work so hard like cats and dogs or like animals. The person can soberly live a proper life. But when he is running after these things, these material objects, then he will start working very hard. Then Prabhupada gives the solution also here, as he has told economic problem or so many other difficulties, the poverty. These are the things which will make us to work hard. But we have to give the solution for the root of the problem. So what is the root cause of our problem? That is, we have forgotten the cows and land. Whatever it may be, we need finally rain and grain. If we don't have this, then we cannot live. We may be having big skyscraper buildings or any number of the factories, all these things we might have having big cities. But if we don't have these two, then we cannot live. If there is no water for drinking, or if there is no grain for eating food, then even though you have everything, it is of no use. And these two things cannot be produced by human being. We have to depend on the nature only. When rain should come, and how much grain it has to give, all these things will be decided by the nature itself. We have no capacity to control this. So finally, we are under the control of nature only. Whatever scientific development we might have made. The land and cow, these two things plays very important role. Cow is a mother and bull is a father. And this cow and bull, they will take care of us eternally. If you see Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, so many millions of years have passed. And we can see the stories of cow and Krishi and Goraksha, how people were cultivating and how they were living happily by taking care of the cows and land. If a person has enough land, the land will grow the greenery, and this greenery will be fed to the cows, and cows gives the milk, and the bulls will plow the land. So it is supporting each other. We cannot have cows without having land, or we cannot produce anything in the land without the support of cow. So both are needed for a peaceful society. And then Prabhupada explains about communists and capitalists, how these people are fighting with each other. As we have come a long way away from the Varnashrama Dharma, or the way of life where we were living peacefully. Now things have become like capitalists. They are trying to encroach all others' property, or one man possessing the property of so many people. That is because of the capitalism. One category of people in the society, they are very rich, and another category of people, they are very poor. Because of this, both are suffering. The person who is rich, he has his own problem. The person who is poor, he has another different types of problems. So that is the difference or unevenness in the society. And there is one more, that is communist. What communists are trying to do, they will make everything equal. All the property belongs to the government, and people has to be given equal rights or equal food, shelter, all these things. Everything, whatever you earn, it will go to the nation. But there is problem with this also. In communist, what happens? The person who has a tendency to work hard, or who can do very good performance, he also gets demotivated. Why? Because whatever he makes, it is not belonging to him. It will just go to the government. And anyhow, government will give everything to everyone. So why should I work hard? This kind of question comes into his mind. Now, what is the solution? One has to be taught about Ishavasya principle. In Ishavasya principle, what we are trying to do, we are understanding the importance of worshipping the Lord. So whatever we get in this world, it all belongs to the Lord. It doesn't belong to me. So whatever I need, I have to take, and remaining things, tena tektena bhunjita magrada kasya siddhana. Whatever the person needs, he has to take it, and then remaining he has to distribute. If a person is taught in this regard. That is, following the Ishavasya principle, one can live peacefully. So this is the solution what Prabhupada is giving. And Prabhupada has made it also. It is not a theory which Prabhupada has given. He has practically shown by establishing farm communities in which the entire world can go and live. Many people are taking advantage of this, and they are becoming part of this. Either a person, American, Russian, China, in the global way, they may be fighting with each other. But when they come under the shelter of Krishna, they all are like, they all can live peacefully without any difficulty. This we can see practically in the society at the present moment. Whole world can become like a one family. This ISKCON is like a family of the family with the members from all over the world. That is farm communities, taking care of the cows, taking care of the land. So this Prabhupada has practically shown all these things. Don't encroach upon others' properties. Prabhupada continues. All the wealth belongs to Krishna. That is Ishopanishad principles. Now we can take an example of a thief. There were 5 thieves. They stole the money from the bank, and then when they brought all the wealth to a place, and now they are telling each other that we should distribute this wealth equally. We should not make any injustice to anyone. So everything should be distributed equally. But first of all, the wealth which is brought there, it is a stolen property. So when they were stealing the property, they had no morality. But when they are distributing among themselves, they are expecting to be done it morally. That means the person is expecting everyone else to be very honest, but he himself doesn't follow the honesty. So this is not correct. So a person who has done the theft, he will get punished. One who takes more than required is a thief, and he is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. So a person who is possessing too much, more than necessary, then he will be punished. So what is ideal spiritual society? One who knows the art of scientifically utilizing God's property will no longer encroach upon another's rights, that is quota or the life. This is the Ishopanishad principle. So this is about the society. Next, Prabhupada explains about the utilizing the human life, how we have to utilize our human form of life. This human form of life is not a animalistic life. There is something more. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanyametad pashuvir narana dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi samana. Human form of life is not for living like animals. It is for making progress in the dharma, to understand why I have taken birth here. This question cannot be answered by animals. The human being has been given a higher intelligence to understand why I have come here. What is my real identity? Who is God? What is the relation between me and God? All these questions can be answered only in the human form of life. And if we use this higher intelligence for accumulating more and more wealth, material possessions, then we are simply wasting our human form of life. And that is called as prayasa. Some men misuse their intelligence to possess unnecessary amenities like slaughterhouses, brothels, and liquor shops. All these things are taking us away from Krishna, and it is the prayasa. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, as it is quoted here, 1 to 9, Dharmasya hi apavargasya narthartoyopakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya hi smritaha. All occupational engagements, that is dharma, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, One who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, that is dharma, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. When we follow dharma, as a result, we get the material benefits, or artha will come. If we perform the activities as per the dharma, the artha will be the result. But that artha should not be used in the sense gratification or kama, but it has to be used in the service of the Lord. Then a person's life will become successful. Otherwise, there is no difference between human form of life and animal life. That is about the dharma. Then what is real dharma? To satisfy Krishna. We follow varna and ashrama for satisfying the Lord. Then that is following Krishna consciousness or cultivating Krishna conscious life. That is the real dharma, true religion. Tasyeva heto prayate tapo vido nalabhyate yad brahmatam upariyadaha tallabhyate dukkhavadanyata sukam sa kalena sarvatra gabira ramhasa. What is to be gained through this human form of life? That one which is not available in the 14 planetary system. That is to go back to Godhead. And if you are endeavoring for happiness, then it is as usual as getting distress. Kalena sarvatra gabira ramhasa. Nobody is trying to become unhappy. Nobody is trying to make some losses in their business. But still it is happening. Why? Because it is coming as a kala. As the time goes, we sometimes make profit, sometimes we lose, sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. This is all coming and going. Don't get carried away by that. What is your job? You have to practice Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead. And Prabhupada also gives one more example here. This is regarding a carpenter. Cobbler. A cobbler, a wealthy karmi took birth in the cobbler's house. That is, there was a wealthy person. He had 2 sons, and he has not given proper teachings to his sons, and those sons have not learned what is right and what is wrong. And to that karmi, the wealthy karmi, there was a cobbler came, and he paid him more. That rich man paid him more. And in the next life, that same rich person became the son of that cobbler. Because he has given more money to him, he has to take it away, take it back. Now the same cobbler, that rich man who has taken birth as a cobbler, he goes to that same house, the rich man's house, and his children beats him. That is, he gets karma back. Because he has not trained his children properly, so the same children will beat him. That is in the next life. He has taken the next life and his children are beating him. This is how the karma will act. So what we have done, accordingly we will get. So why should we waste our time in this? We should try to do devotional service and go back to Godhead. Unless the karmis and jnanis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will be simply continuing waste their life in the fruitless activities. So going to heaven and coming back, this is like waste of time. The real purpose is to go back to Godhead. Third one is prajalpa, talking too much. Example for prajalpa, there are jnanis, karmi and materialists, how they are making the prajalpa, that is explained. The jnanis, they do dry scholarship that amounts to nothing more than unless scriptural argumentation. Simply arguing on the scriptures without coming to any proper conclusion or practicing the jnana, just to understand that this material world is temporary, without understanding what is the real purpose. Okay, you have understood that this material world is not good, there is problem, but what is the solution? The solution is not known. Then karmis, they are only interested in performing pious activities, so that they can go to heaven and then enjoy there till they finish the credit of their karma. These materialists, those people who read the newspapers, magazines, novels, all these things will come under prajalpa. Then fourth one is niyamagraha, that is accepting or rejecting rules. Accepting is the niyama agraha and rejecting is niyama agraha. Prabhupada mentions few points under this. Niyama means rules and regulations which has to be followed. Agraha means eagerness to follow or accept, and agraha means failure to follow or failure to accept. So there are two meanings we can understand through this. Now coming to the first point, niyama agraha, it is following the rules and regulations. So accepting the rules and regulations just for material benefit. These are like karmakandis in the Vedas. When we are performing karmakanda activities, it will give the benefits of going to heaven. And then we have to come back to the material world again. The real problems like birth, death, old age, and disease, these things are not solved. So immediate benefit if you are using, that is niyama agraha. Or to remain overzealous, to adhere to the lower rules even after attaining a higher qualifications, not improving oneself in the practice, and accept the rules of the Jnana Shastra to obtain liberation, endeavoring for liberation, and be attached scriptural rules of pragmatism with a desire for sensual enjoyment in this life or the next life. These are called as niyama agraha, accepting the rules and regulations for personal benefits or sense gratification. All these things are coming under niyama agraha. Next comes niyama agraha. Agraha means not at all following the rules and regulations. That is neglecting the Shastric rules and regulations which are meant for advancing in the bhakti. This will destroy our life. And failure to observe the rules and which nourishes the bhakti. Some of the examples like neglecting to wear tilaka and tulsi kantimala, chanting on the japamala, and eating only Krishna prasadam. All these things are the examples for niyama agraha, not following the rules which are explained. And by doing all these things, one cannot achieve the Krishna prema. Janasanga, that is the fifth point. Janasanga means bad association, associating with the people who are materialistic, who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. By associating with them, they will contaminate our consciousness. Whatever desires they have, it will get transferred to us. So that will also destroy our bhakti. Or Mayavadis, who are blaspheming the devotees and the Lord, and Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami, those people, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanti, Krishna Bhakta Shanta Nishkama Athaeva Shanta. They are those people, the devotees, they are always peaceful. And the atheists and worldly peoples, then those who are after sense gratification. All these things are coming under Janasanga. So what is the solution? One must seek the association of devotees and practice Krishna consciousness in their association. Now, association means when we are working outside or when we are going out, we may associate with so many people, but that is not told here. That here the association means we are constantly having their association for certain purposes without having any real benefit. We eagerly take their association, not for some vyavaharika level, that is allowed, but it is associating with such people every day or continuously, because of which their desires get into our system. That is the Janasanga. Then Laulya means greed. This greed in the Bhakti, it is nourishing. That is Tatra Laulya Mekalam Mulyam. If you want to get Krishna Prema, you must have greed for getting that. Here it is not that greed explained. This is the greed which is material. Laulya, which is unsteadiness and greed. Unsteadiness, it is the fickleness of the mind to accept different kinds of false doctrines or conclusions. This is the laulya, the greed for the knowledge. And then greed refers to the attachment for useless material sense enjoyment activities. That is mystic yoga, the siddhikami, and merging into the existence of the Brahman, attaining the whimsical material property. All these things are coming under the laulya. So Prabhupada explains all these things. Finally, he concludes that if we fail to give up all these six unfavorable things, then what happens? First one, one's ability to understand the greatness of Krishna Bhakti will be lost. We will not have an intense desire for Krishna consciousness. Second one will be forever deviated from the path of Bhakti. These are the two dangers that Prabhupada explains here. One is we will lose the interest or will not be able to understand the greatness of Bhakti. And second one, forever deviated from the path of Bhakti. These are the results of having these qualities, six qualities. But if we follow this, that means if we are avoiding these six qualities, then what happens? All enmity will cease between, by avoiding these six elementary faults, all enmity will cease between men and animals, capitalist and communist, and so forth. All economic or political problems of maladjustment and instability will be solved. So these are the two points Prabhupada says. What happens if you follow, and what happens if you don't follow? These are explained by Srila Prabhupada. So one must have proper spiritual education and practice for achieving this. So these are the six qualities that we have seen in brief. Next, Prabhupada explains the six qualities, or Rupa Goswami gives the six qualities which will enhance our bhakti. That is, these are the six qualities. Anybody would like to read can raise their hand. Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Prabhuji. Utsahan nishchaya dhairya tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sado vritte sadbhi bhakti prasiddhyadhi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You can read the translation, Mataji, if you have the book.
Yeah, I'll see. Yes, Prabhuji. There are six principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Being enthusiastic. Second one, endeavoring with confidence. Third, being patient. Fourth, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Fifth one, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And sixth, following the footsteps of previous acharyas. These six principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. These are the six things which will enhance our bhakti to Krishna. So if we want to advance in Krishna consciousness, then first thing is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means always eager to serve the Lord. Eagerness, what we say, the laulyam in the positive sense. Eager to have the association of the devotees and serve the Lord in their association. That is the laulyam, utsaha. In the purport, Prabhupada explains the science and glory of bhakti in the beginning. And under that, he will explain about the uttama bhakti, that we have studied under nectar of devotion. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. Bhakti, it is a science because we have studied Bhakti under Nectar of Devotion, where it is a law book of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness. It is not a sentimental speculation or imagination or some idle meditation. That is not Bhakti. Bhakti means it's a practical activity. Bhakti. Bhakti, the Prabhupada has translated it as devotional service. Devotion is love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is expressed through the activity, that is the service, which has to be cultivated. Now, by cultivating this Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti, or unalloyed devotional service to the Lord, which is in the favorable, unmotivated, and which is devoid of all the fruitive karma, karma in the impersonal jnana and all the selfish desires, then such Bhakti is called as Uttama Bhakti. And there are 9 ways we can start performing this Bhakti, that is 9 processes of Bhakti, which is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd sloka. So, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. The first one is Shravanam, hearing attentively about the name and glories of the Lord, and Kirtanam, chanting the glories of the Lord. First, we have to hear from the Acharya, and whatever we have heard, we should remember it and explain to others. By doing so, we can, whatever we have learned, it will become firmly fixed within our heart. Then Smaranam, remembering the Lord always. Then Padasevanam, serving the Lord's lotus feet. Archanam, worshipping the Krishna's deity, offering obeisances to Krishna, that is Vandanam. Acting as Krishna's servant, Dasyam. Sakhyam, making friends with Krishna, and Atmanivedanam, fully surrendering to the Lord. That is, these are the 9 practices of Bhakti which one has to follow to improve in Krishna consciousness. Next, Prabhupada explains about how to accept a guru to practice Krishna consciousness. Because without the help of a guru, one cannot understand what is Krishna consciousness. How we have to approach a guru? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So those people who are tattvadarshi, who has seen the truth, they will explain it to us if we go to them. And pranipatena pariprashnena, first to do the service, then ask the questions. By doing so, those people, they will show mercy on us, and we will be able to advance in the Krishna consciousness. That is the first step. Then Prabhupada explains about the glory of a person who has got this. Brahmanda Brahmite, Kona Bhagyavana Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya, Bhakti Lata Bija. One who has achieved this, or in the course of traversing the universe, universal creation of Brahma, some fortune soul may receive the seed of Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotional service. This is all by grace of Guru and Krishna. That is the given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then confinement. The jivas are by nature pleasure seeking. It is called Anandamayo Abhyasat. Endeavoring to become happy is natural for the jiva. We all, either human being or animals, all are trying to become happy within this material world. But if, but we don't know what is the real way to become happy. The real happiness is in the service to the Lord. Jivya Surupaya Krishna Nityadas. Just like a pen is meant for writing, a typewriter is meant for typing. Similarly, the jiva, he will become happy only by serving the Lord. If he is not serving the Lord, then whatever he may do, he will not get the real happiness. Just like the fish which is taken out of water. Anything you may give, it will not become happy or peaceful. You just have to give him water. The fish has to be put inside the water, then it will come to the natural position. That is dharma of the jiva. The jiva What is dharma? Dharma means the natural position or qualities. The water flows. That is dharma of water. The fire burns. Burning is the dharma of fire. Or salt, the taste of the salt, the sugar, they have their dharma. The salt will not give the taste of a sugar, or sugar will not give the taste of salt. That is dharma. Similarly, what is the dharma of jiva? To be as the servant of the Lord. That is the dharma of the Lord, jiva. So by doing this, by becoming a servant of the Lord, the jiva is coming to the constitutional position, because of which he can eternally become happy. And only very few jivas, the living entities, will get the opportunity to come in the association of Guru and Krishna. By achieving that, one can become happy. After explaining these things, Prabhupada is telling all the 6 qualities, that is Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, Tartata, Karma Pravartanat, Sangatyagat, Satovrutte, Shadbhir Bhakti, Prasiddhyati. Okay, let us have a kirtan now. After this, after the kirtan, we will continue. Who is going to do kirtan today?
Prabhuji, Sureshwari Priya Mataji.
Okay. Mataji, you can raise your hand. Just a minute, I will make the co-host. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I am audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Now this is a bhajan, which is, the author is Adi Shankaracharya, and song name is Bhaje Vrajagamandanam Samasta Papakandanam. And this is taken from a book, Brahasotra Ratnagara. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Dinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prajarini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashati Deshadarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The sloga, there are 8 shlokas. Bhaje Vrajaigamandanam Samasta Papakandanam Swabhakta Chittaranjanam Sadaiva Nandanandanam Supicha Guchamastagam Sunada Venuhastagam Anandaranga Sagaram Namami Krishna Nagaram Manoja Garbhamojanam Vishalalolalochanam Vidhuda Gopashojanam Namami Patmalojanam Kararavinda Bhutaram Smitavaloka Sundaram Mahendra Manadharanam Namami Krishna Varanam Kadamba Shuna Kundalam Sucharu Gandhamandalam Prajanganeka Vallabham Namami Krishna Durlabham Yashodaya Samodaya Sabhopaya Sanandaya Yutam Suhaiganayakam Namami Gopanayakam Sadeva Pada Pangajam Madhya Manase Nijam Tadhanamutta Malakam Namami Nanda Balakam Samasta Dosha Shoshanam Samasta Loka Poshanam Samasta Gopamanasam Namami Krishna Lalasam Bhuvo Bharavatarakam Bhavabdi Karanadrakam Yashomadi Kishoragam Namami Dugdachoragam Driganda Kranda Banginam Sada Sadali Sanginam Dine Dine Navam Navam Namami Nanda Sambhavam Gunakaram Sukhakaram Kripakaram Kripavaram Suradvishani Kandanam Namami Gopanandanam Navina Gopanagaram Navina Kelilam Padam Namami Megha Sundaram Tadit Prabhadla Satpadam Samasta Gopanandanam Tadambujaiga Mohanam Namami Kunja Madhyakam Prasanna Bhanushopanam Nikama Kamadhayagam Draganda Charu Sayagam Rasala Venugayagam Namami Kunjanayakam Vigada Gopika Manotnya Talpasainam Namami Munjakanine Pravruddhavani Payinam Yada tata tadeva Krishna Satkada Maya Sadeva Giyadam tada Kripa Vidhaitam Pramanikastadvayam Japadi Adyaya Puman Bhavet Sanandanandane Bhave Subhaktiman Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation. Eternally I worship Lord Krishna, who is Nanda's son, who is Brija's sole ornament, who breaks all sins into pieces, and who delights the devotees' hearts. I offer my respectful obeisance to the hero Lord Krishna, whose head is decorated with peacock feathers, whose hands holds a melodious flute, and who is an ocean of Kamadeva's pastimes. I offer my respectful obeisance to the lotus-eyed Lord Krishna, who frees Kamadeva of his pride, whose large eyes are very restless, and who shakes away the Gopa's sadness. I offer my respectful obeisance to dark Lord Krishna, whose lotus hands lifted Govardhana hill, whose smiling glance is charming, and who ripped Indra's pride into shreds. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who is difficult to attain, who wears a kadamba flower earring, the circle of whose cheeks is very charming, and who is the only beloved Vraja's girls. I offer my respectful obeisance to the Lord Krishna, who is a playful cowherd boy, and who is in the company of Yashoda, Nanda, and Gopa people, enjoy pastimes that delight them all. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who is Nanda's small boy, and who is eternally places his kunkuma anointed lotus feet in my heart. I offer my respectful obeisance to cheerful Lord Krishna, who dries up all faults, makes all worlds prosper, and stays in the thoughts of all the Gopa people. I offer my respectful obeisance to the milk thief Lord Krishna, who removed the earth's burden, who is the captain of ship to cross the ocean of birth and death, and who is Yashoda's teenage son. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who is Nanda's son, who casts crooked glances from the corners of his eyes, who always stays with gopis, and who day after day enjoys newer and newer pastimes. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who is a jewel mine of transcendental qualities, a jewel mine of transcendental bliss, a jewel mine of mercy, who defeats the demigods' enemies, and who delights the cowherd people. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who is a young hero of the cowherd people, who is a playful young rake, who is handsome and dark like the monsoon cloud, and whose yellow garments glisten like lightning. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who delights all the cowherd people, who charms devotees' lotus hearts, who stays in the forest groves, and who is splendid like a glistening sun. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who fulfills all desires, whose sidelong glances are charming arrows, whose flute music is nectar, and who is the amorous hero of the forest groves. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna, who reclines on the charming couch of the wise gopis' hearts, and who drank up to the forest fire at Manjatavi forest. I pray that whenever and however I sing his glories, Lord Krishna will be merciful to me. I pray that whoever reads and recites these 8 prayers will be fervently devoted to Nanda's son, devoted birth after birth. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Let us continue our discussion. Here we have a activity. Summarize your topics of main points. Give special attention to analogies, examples, and quoted verses by Prabhupada. So all the 12 items are included here. There are 5 things. So if we make 5 groups, okay, we'll get 3 to 4 people in a group. Is it okay, Muralidharan Prabhu? We'll make 5 groups.
Sorry, I was speaking with mute on. I'm saying there are 16 people because one seems to be a device.
Okay.
So
we'll make 5 groups. Is it fine, Prabhu? 3 people.
yes. Three people.
Yeah. Please note down the items. First one is Atyahara, Prayasa, Prajalpa. Second one is Niyamagraha, then Tattat Karma Pravartanat. It's a mixed, it's not same. Utsahan, third one. And fourth one is Chaya Dhairya. Fifth one, Janasanga and Sangatyaga. And Satovritti. Because they are related. Janasanga and Sangatyaga. Satovritti. These are the 5 items. You have to take the analogies, examples, and quoted in verses given in Prabhupada's purport. Okay, let us start the breakout room. You have 5 minutes for discussion, 2 minutes for presentation.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, one small doubt.
Yeah.
Is it like the first point is for first group? Is it like that or?
Yes, Mataji.
Everyone? Okay.
Those who get room number 1 will get first one.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Like that. Hare Krishna, I welcome back to the discussion. Kiruba Prabhu, you can start.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
And Pranam. Our topics related to the importance of association. So, whenever we start our Krishna conscious associating with this movement, with the devotees, our fundamental motive is to follow the footsteps of acharyas and the senior devotees, Shiksha, Guru, like that. So as per their teachings and the preachings, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told that stay away from non-devotees. And even Narottama Das also stressed the same thing, that live in the company of pure devotees. So as per this, when we have to work in the materialistic world, as we are compelled to work in different companies and different places, practically it is very difficult, particularly when we are in other countries like Islamic and Arabic countries. Almost 8 to 10 hours we stay in the office, and they are of different religions and different ideas. But still, as Prabhupada has told us, our mind we can bring. Wherever we can stay, we can bring even Vrindavan to our surroundings by controlling our mind. Like that, wherever we stay, we have to stay devoted to Krishna and think the kirtans, the satsangs, try to associate as much as possible. And inside the mind, we can chant and glorify the God and stay blissful. That's what I feel, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Giridhar Gopal. I would like to add certain points, Prabhuji,
Sure.
in addition to the points Kribashankar Prabhuji added. As Prabhuji said, whenever we are in the office or in other places who are non-devotees, we should always try to explain the Krishna conscious to them so that they can enable the experience that we get, Prabhuji. And that is one thing that we can do. Always follow the Acharya's path, Prabhuji, the Shat Goswamis. So if we follow that path, we are sure that we will be in the right direction and reach Godhead, Prabhuji. If not the Godhead, at least we will be there in the heavenly path, and in the next birth, we will enhance our devotion towards Krishna consciousness and then reach Godhead finally. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I am the third member of the group. Just one more point I want to add along with my colleagues who are already spoken. Actually, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, it has opened many centers, and there are so many devotees coming there. So all of them are in the initial stage, they all are the non-devotees. But as a Madhyamadhikari, people are invited there and they are given the facilities so that they can also become devotees one day. So wherever we are, we have to bring all those people into Krishna consciousness, and we have to guide them to the nearest center so that one day they will also become the devotees. A practical approach towards the this one that we have to keep away from non-devotees and be in the company of devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's myself and Rakshita Mataji. So I'll just talk about Niyama Agraha. So, and she'll talk about Tat Karma. So accepting some scriptural rules and regulation for immediate benefit or as an ulterior benefit is called Niyama Agraha. And neglecting the rules of Shastra, which is meant for the spiritual development, is called Niyama Agraha. Yeah. So, and actually, those who are in Krishna conscious, they should strictly follow the regulations, and they should not aspire for that economic development and all, but they should faithfully accept the rules given by the Shastras to advance the Krishna consciousness, and should like the 4 principles: avoiding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Mataji, you want to add for that word?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So,
One more point before you come, Mataji. And Niyama Agra, we also talked, Prabhuji, you talked about, we should not, like we say, chanting on the beads, not wearing tulsi mala or tilaka. That is also Niyama Agraha. Yes, Mataji, you continue.
So Prabhupada has given us like a timetable from morning till evening till we go to bed. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to follow? So waking up early in the morning, attending Mangalarati, that's how we got to begin our day. And then even when we go out of, our devotional life, like going to offices and working and all that, the Prabhupada again has given us rules to protect ourselves from this material trap by eating Krishna Prasadam. Again, by chanting, wherever you are, you can chant and associate with the Lord. And Tat Karma Pravartanat. So this is the meaning of it. The following the Tat Karma Pravartanat. So he's given us what are the activities we got to do every day. So and how are we supposed to do it? Enthusiastically. So it's given over here. One should be very enthusiastic about executing the regulative principles. Both what should not be followed and what should be followed. Both of them we got to execute very enthusiastically, like the basic 4 regulative principles, as Mataji already listed, which are not supposed to be followed, and the activities which we are supposed to do. So they are like chanting on the beads, wearing tilak, doing 16 rounds, visiting temple at least a week, once in a week. All these things which are supposed to be followed. That is niyama, and what are supposed to be prohibited, they are called yama. And then and also Prabhupada says niyama agraha or niyama agraha, we should not get too much attached to the rules, not at the cost of preaching. So that also he says. And so that he also has set an example. He lived with a hippie, in fact, when he went to America. So it doesn't mean, okay, Sat Sangatyaga doesn't mean you should completely avoid people. If you are able to convert those hippies into devotees, then why not? Right? And he had to share his refrigerator with people who used to store non-veg and all that. So we need to understand the essence of following the rules, but not getting too much attached to the rules alone. The internal meaning has to be kept in mind. That's all, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Jayanti Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Myself and Murlidhar and Prabhuji were the group, and we got the topic of, we took the topic of Utsaha. We should be very enthusiastic while doing Bhakti. It is not a duty. It is not only a duty. We should do this Bhakti with enthusiasm. That we have to see. And in Uttama Bhakti, cultivation of Bhakti is done. We have to grow that Bhakti by chanting and by hearing and being in satsangs of devotees, like that. All the 7 process we can do, and we can increase our Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. This unalloyed Bhakti is also provided by Guru and mercy of Guru and Lord Krishna. That we have discussed, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Just wanted to add a point.
Yes, Prabhu.
Endeavor executed with intelligence is called Uttaha or enthusiasm. And this enthusiasm will have to be implemented in every part of the activity. It is not just idle sitting in meditation, but being very enthusiastic to participate in all the 9 methods of Bhakti, and use the enthusiasm with a great deal of patience, because one should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. Similarly, we need to have, I call patience as abundant, infinite patience, because just like Prabhupada ji took a long of time to get the devotees join the movement and increase. So his enthusiasm built upon the followers who loved his enthusiasm even at a late age. This is also part of the enthusiasm that I'm talking about. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Priya Sampath Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We were discussing about Janasangha. So Janasangha is basically associating with devotees or people of like minds. And as per Narottama Dasa Thakura, it is strictly said that we need to be in the association of only Krishna conscious devotees, that is Bhakta Sane Vasa. So we need to be in the vicinity of devotees. But the real motto of life, that is real goal of life, has to be understood when being in association with devotees. But the absolute truth has to be understood, and we should avoid unnecessary mundane activities, or like Grama Katha has to be avoided, and more of Krishna Katha has to be done. And that does not come when you're devotees. There is no question that you will deviate or speak more of Grama Katha. So involvement of devotees and being in the Sadhu Sangha is very important. The more you associate, more you meet frequently, the Sunday feast, or going to the temple regularly on Ekadashi, or you have group meetings, or you go together for yatra. So all these helps in Jana Sangha. And we need to, as per the senior devotees, our Thakuras, they have said that we have to try avoiding non-devotees strictly. So that will help us progress more and be within the community. That only this much we could discuss. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna, everyone. All the devotees, Pranam to all. Prabhuji, we was giving that Nishchat and Dharyat, the 2 of them, which is patience and confidence. The both of them we have to follow. Patience is a live example, is Srila Prabhupada himself. He was the one who had started the movement, and the movement first in India, nobody recognized it, nobody were ready to follow it. Then he kept his patience. He was so determined, and he had a nishchay, strong nishchay that he is going to propagate it. And so that he went out, but he did not give up his patience. He kept the dharya along with it. And that's why he went single-handed. He promoted this activity, and definitely he got the success. And it took time for people. So he kept it patience, that people to understand the Krishna consciousness movement, how to propagate, how to proceed further. And then another example, what they've given from the verse is the girl who get married, and she has to wait to get pregnant unless she knows the husband and all, which I don't think so is possible these days, Prabhuji. I'm seeing so many patients, Prabhuji, coming unmarried, pregnant. So this is, I don't know where Prabhupada would be there. He would break his heads and saying, what have I written? the people don't have what is the morale gone, and that is what he wanted to propagate for Krishna consciousness, how to keep patience with things. So dharya is another one big thing which we have to understand, and we have to keep the patience and confidence in the Lord that he will always come to protect us. That's why it says, no, avasya rakshibe Krishna. He will come anytime. You will be there if you have a full faith. This is unconditional surrender. If you have, you know that there will be tough times coming in life, but then there is somebody who will sail you through, and who is always there to help you. But that the duration when we undergo the exam, we are not able to keep our patience. So it is not the patience only that is there. The way you behave during keeping the patience is also very important. It is not that you are very restless, you're grumbling, you are irritable, and then you keep a patience. That is not. It's not like we have to get an example from Prabhupada, that how he kept his patience. He traveled all the way. He went there to follow his guru's order. So So dharyat is very, very important, and dharyat, the way we keep the dharya is very important. That is what is mentioned there, and how we keep the confidence, and we should have strong belief in the mind that that Krishna is always, if my intention is good and if my aim is good, if my goal is pious and it's divine, then definitely Krishna will always help. And they always say, if you desire anything related to bhakti, definitely it will be fulfilled. Krishna makes a path somewhere or the other where it gets fulfilled. Hare Krishna. That is what.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. When people come to the animal way of life, the morality doesn't work.
Correct, Prabhuji. I won't imagine what I see every day in the clinic. It's unimaginable. It's not, I don't know, it's modern or what you say, what type of it is. Hardly my nurses, they take the history, and for every second girl they will write she's unmarried, but you can examine her. It is really difficult, very, very difficult, Prabhuji. And it's now, matlab, the things are so changed. It sometimes you feel these all sentences I think of no importance for them.
Yeah, Shastra is only can be understood those who are at least have some morality. Otherwise, they can only understand Shastra. Shastra is
not there.
Finally, only Shastra will work. That is at the end of Kali Yuga. You cannot preach because the very foundation itself, if it is broken.
Prabhuji, but see, the countries are going on allowing also, no? Live-in relationships are getting allowed everywhere.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
But
so because they've also become helpless.
The Shastra, when it is not able to be taught, then only Shastra will work. Then it is like animal. You cannot you cannot tell a dog not to come here. You have to take a stick and show him. Then only he will understand why he should not go there. That is the only thing which remains.
That's the only.
Thank you, Mataji.
Correct.
Let us continue here from Srila Prabhupada. Those who would like to read can raise their hand. Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Atyahar. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity. Because of Atyahar or any excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessities of material existence. Jivyasa Tattva Jignasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. Sri Isha Upanishad. Sorry, Sri Upadesha Amrit text 2 purpose.
Thank you, Mataji. Shri Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Dhairya. This Krishna consciousness movement was started single-handedly, and in the beginning there was no response. But because we continued to execute our devotional activities with patience, people gradually began to understand the importance of this movement, and now they are eagerly participating. One should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instructions from the spiritual master and execute them with patience, depending on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Shri Upadeshamrita, text 3, purpose. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Malyalam Prabhu.
Nischayat, devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. There are certainly many good qualities among fruitive actors, philosophical speculators, and mystic yogis, but all good qualities automatically develop in the character of a devotee. No extraneous endeavor is needed. Sri Upadeshamrita, text 3 purport. Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay. This devotional service or Krishna consciousness, in a positive manner, it is told that it's a terminal disease. Once a person gets this, he will be definitely going to go back to Godhead, but it will take time. For different people, it will take different time. but once starts, it will not give up. So devotional service is so pure, it will forcibly drag one person to ultimate success. Because whenever the difficulties are common in life, everyone will get some difficulty. But how we react to those difficulties depends on what kind of nature we have developed. So a devotee, whenever there is the danger, he will run to Krishna. So that becomes a nature of the devotee. So gradually he will definitely come to proper Krishna consciousness. Next, Sato Vritte, Jayanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And Sato Vritte, dealing very straightforward. No diplomacy, no politics, no duplicity. That will not help. Sato Vritaha is profession, should be very straightforward, no underhand dealings. Purport to Narsimha Prayers, Los Angeles, August 2nd, 1970. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is like if you ask a Brahmana where you have kept your money, he will show where it is exactly. He will not hide it. That is Sato Vritte. He will never speak lie. Rakshita Mataji. You are not audible. Hare Krishna. Okay, Sarita Mataji, Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Niyama agraha, eagerness to accept. Practicing the scriptures, rules and regulations only for the sake of following them. Niyama agraha, failure to accept.
Thank you. With this,
First is agraha, second is agraha.
yeah, this if you
Agraha.
put this dash, no, it becomes agraha.
Agraha.
Yeah, if there is no dash, then agraha.
Agraha. Failure to accept.
Yes, you can continue.
Yeah. Niyam agraha. Expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in the terms of time and place. All the great acharyas or religious preachers or reformers of the world executed their mission by adjustment of religious principles in terms of time and place. There are different climates and situations in different parts of the world, and if one has to discharge his duties to preach the message of the Lord, he must be expert in adjusting things in terms of the time and place. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.9 perfect. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada has made this possible. He has made the devotional service possible for the Western world. So he has made all the changes which are needed so that everyone can follow at the same time without compromising with the principle. That is, everyone became devotees. Finally, Phalena Parichayate. What comes the result? By that, we can understand whether what he did is correct. So when we see whatever Prabhupada has preached, because of that, so many people have taken to Krishna consciousness and they have given up all their bad habits. So that is the quality of an acharya. Radha Vallavi Mataji.
If one strictly follows the advice given in the verses by Srila Rupa Goswami, namely being enthusiastic, being confident, being patient, giving up the association of unwanted persons, following the regulative principles, and remaining in the association of devotees, one is sure to advance in devotional service. Sri Upadesha Amrit, text 3, perfect.
Right. Now here is a question for all. Discuss with a partner 2 points particularly relevant for you from Upadeshamrita. That is 2 and 3. Now we have learned 12 points. Among that, what are your plans for applying these points? How we can apply? Anybody would like to express? They can raise their hand. These things. How you can give up the 6 things and how to apply the 6 things in our life. If somebody would like to add some points, they can. Beginning from Atyahara. Radhavalavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Atyahara. I will talk about Atyahara.
Yes.
Too much eating. Atya, too much. Ahar, your food. So one should avoid, like most of us have, I talk about myself, have sweet tooth. And earlier, prior to following the rules and regulation, it was like every weekend get something sweet from specific shops and all. But after coming to the Krishna conscious, following the rules and regulation, we have stopped. Whatever you have to eat has to be within the limits, and then prepared at home for offer to Lord first, and then take it as a prasadam, not to satisfy my own senses. It is to satisfy the Lord, what the Lord, and just thinking what Lord would like to have today, not that what I would like to have. At least that attitude has changed. That's what I would like.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to read, speak something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
I can tell you one thing. From last 25 to 26 years, after coming to Krishna consciousness, I never attended any public, even including in my household. I never attended any marriage or any activities of that kind. I'll be always at home. The main thing is that I don't want to be associated with any bad karma. For example, I don't like to eat anything from outside. Though we all are vegetarians, but again, I want to, as far as possible, I want to keep away from all those things. I was working in the college for last 36 to 38 years. So during that time also, I will give the contribution and I'll keep myself away from all sorts of parties. People will think and people will say that why she is like this. But later on, they stopped asking me because that has become my habit. I'll go there, I'll participate in every activity, but I'll be away from all eating, meeting type of activities. So this is what I want to say. I try to avoid that Sangha. I don't want to become a non-devotee now. I am into Krishna consciousness. I want to advance. So this is my goal. One day I may come to that level. Hare Krishna.
Hats off to you, Mataji. Hats off to you. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
I wish we can all imbibe this characteristic.
Bol Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Bol Mataji, setting the standards very high.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Just trying.
Prabhuji, I would like to add on Prajalpa because earlier or what till lately also I used to get engrossed in a lot of gossiping. Like it was a kind of stress buster, whether we are meeting relatives or friends or even office colleagues. So it was like blabbering about one person or the other. But after joining Krishna consciousness full-fledgedly now, earlier like I used to kill my time, or I used to feel that reading a novel is a relaxation, or reading some magazine, or playing cards with friends, or freaking out just like that, going for some mall, or just watching a theater movie in a theater. But now I have realized even WhatsApp groups and chatting and using this social media and OTT platforms, watching everything was a part and parcel. Like if I have to relax and detoxify myself, it was like it was a non-toxicating thing for all the weekend over. But now, because of in Krishna consciousness, I have totally switched. Though I am using the WhatsApp again, but it is only with the Krishna devotees to get their association. I am doing Zoom chat, but it is now the purpose has changed. Either it is official rather than meeting over the friends, what you are doing, let's communicate. But it has now become more of an association of devotees and diversified towards learning and inquiring more about Krishna, knowing more about him, and engrossing all my acts. Like rather than wasting time, it is earlier I used to read novels. Now I read more of Krishna book or other stories which are relevant and associated with Krishna. So it is like using the same thing. Earlier I was using the knife, I would say, as an analogy to cut my own self only, but now I am using it at least to prepare some salads, fruits, and using it constructively. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So this is what was the Prajalpa which I was getting engrossed into. Slowly and steadily I am trying to move myself from that particular 180-degree turn towards this side, and I'm not involving myself now in more and more gossip, because I realize it's like crop toading. When the example which I saw, it was exactly like that, inviting snakes come and eat me. Because in any kind of a setup in this material world, when we are in relationships with relatives, friends, or anybody, the moment we start talking and doing this nonsensical talk about people or gossiping, some way or the other, if the grapevine goes and it comes back, it haunts you back again and you are trapped. So that is a very good analogy, which I realized that ekdam fit. It was on my life only. So now I am trying to move away from that. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sarita Kapoor, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just tell an incident. When I came new to Dubai, we were invited for so many social gatherings and all that, and being new to this place, so obviously we wanted to this I'm telling you about 25 years ago, 26 years before, when I came here. And that was a time, Prabhuji, that time the weekend used to be Thursday and Friday over here. So Thursday so anyway, we'll be invited on Thursday. You won't imagine how it was. It used to be like till 2 o'clock, people are drinking, but 2:33 a.m. in the night, then say, we'll put the dinner. We only went for one party and it was the end. It was just not possible for us. And it is as really saying that you cannot worldly minded persons, how they were. And like that was one time when we had a horrible experience. Till 3 o'clock, people are saying, now we'll put the dinner on. And it was really difficult to handle that stage, and we are putting our head on the chair and trying to sleep, but that also was no use for them to understand that what the other one wants. But now it makes a difference now. But then, and this is what I feel it is a gift of the lockdown, which has happened when I joined the 18 days course from Prema Kishori Mataji. I call her Preeti because I know her from before. So from her when we started the 18-day course, how it's different. And now I think so I'm not really now the devotees is the only thing. That time is they have a very big congregation here, and it is really very good that God has blessed in a place where we have so many programs, right? Even on Sundays now 11:30 another program will start in the congregation. There are people who give in their school, and there'll be 1,000 Rath Yatra. There was a gathering, about 5,000 people who had come for the Rath Yatra. So now only the thing is the attraction is only towards that. So from the second verse, I know that the association was most with the worldly people, and now that your association, now from the third one, it goes to we want to avoid abandoning with the non-devotees. And sometimes now it is that you get a taunt from the house also, you're too much into it now, just be moderate. It is too much now, stop it. That's I think so most of us get to hear it out. But probably the atmosphere in the house also starts changing. Now that if you want to buy a big TV, 75, 85 inches, you don't want to see anything else unless related to either something related to Krishna or something of the Kathas. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just wanted to put a small experience of mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. I thank all the devotees for sharing their experiences. Finally, let us hear from Prabhupada. Anybody would like to read? Madhuri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This Krishna consciousness movement offers a spiritual community that can bring about a peaceful condition in the world. Every intelligent man should purify his consciousness and rid himself of the above mentioned 6 hindrances to devotional service by taking wholehearted shelter of this Krishna consciousness movement. Sri Upadeshamrita, text 2 purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. With this, we have come to the conclusion of today's lesson. So 6 things to be avoided and 6 things which can enhance our devotional service. This was the topic for today. This is a vast topic. I request all the devotees to go through the book, read it more and more time, we will find so many instructions that Prabhupada has given, which can enhance our devotion, and we can avoid so many things which are detrimental for our progress in devotional service. Now, if anybody has questions, they can raise their hand in today's session. Today it was more philosophical, no much story. Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, in text 2, while you were explaining about the real dharma, you quoted one verse.
It is there in the book itself, no? Dharmasya hi apavargasya, is it no? Bhagavatam 129.
That is there. After that also you quoted one more.
Is it not there in the books?
No, that is not in the book.
Just a minute. 129, that I quoted.
Right, something like Sarvatta Kalyani.
I don't
You talked about what is the gain for this human life enduring for.
That is Tasyeva Heto Prayateta Kovido.
Correct. What is that verse number?
That just came to my mind. Actually, I wanted to say something. Suddenly I got that shloka. Anyhow, I started, no, so I just completed it. And what it says is, why you are roaming in the 14 planetary system? Anyhow, the difficulties are coming. As it is coming, all the happiness also. We are endeavoring for happiness, but we get difficulty also. So it is told by Prahlad Maharaj, I think. So why are you don't have to endeavor even for happiness also? It comes on its own. Then why you have to endeavor? You have to endeavor for that which is not available in the different going up and down. Prayateta Kovido. That is in 14 planetary system. What is not available? That is that you have to get. Just a minute, I will get the exact shloka. Tasyeva hetu prayateta kovido. It is in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18. This is by Narada, I think so. Yeah. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from topmost planet Brahmaloka to the lowest planet, that is Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in the course of time. As in course of time we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 5th chapter. Narada's instruction on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. In that it is explained.
1.5.18, right?
1.5.18, yeah, correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna.
Any other questions?
Prabhuji, being patient means what? Like here today they have shown about Srila Prabhupada being patient, and you have to keep patience and all. But into day-to-day life, when you are into Krishna consciousness, you do lose your patience at time also. And otherwise, sometimes somebody makes you lose it up to the extent where still we do not at a stage where we can keep our patience to the utmost. So how do we elaborate this in the daily life? Prabhupada is on a different level. We cannot compare it that he kept the patience, he went out and all. But for us in day to day, like what they mean by here, we surrender to it, Lord, but then keeping patience in every aspect of regarding to Krishna consciousness. If you can explain everything.
Realizing the fact that things are not in our hand, it will make us patient. If you lose your patience, if you get angry, then the situation is not going to improve. It will worsen the situation. But showing anger at someone is not the sign of impatient all the time, because anger also has its own utility. But that anger should not be controlled. It should not control us. We should be able to control it. Just like if you get angry at someone, it should be only to that matter. It should not be shown in other things. In the next moment, you should be completely normal person, means then your anger is being utilized for a good purpose. Just like it's a small child doing some mischievous activities, you just raise your voice and show some anger, but that anger is not there when you continue your job. Then it is perfect. There is no problem. And to how to maintain the patience, that is by intelligence. Whenever we lose patience, it is always giving trouble to ourselves only. So if we realize this, then we will be able to act carefully.
So it's okay to get angry at the staff sometime when they are really making mistakes. That has to be done, because then to follow the system, when it especially comes to some reports of patients or something regarding to somebody's management, and then I think so.
Otherwise, it is not possible. Otherwise, you are making compromise with your duty also. A teacher has to get angry at the children. Otherwise, you are not able to discharge your duty properly. Parikshit Maharaj got angry at the Kali. It is his duty. He has to do that. Otherwise, not possible. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thanks.
Anybody else has any questions? If there are no more questions, then we will end for today. Continue in the next class, lesson 3. I thank all the devotees for coming to the session and actively participating in the discussion. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Hridas Thakur ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.